Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 7 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. I'm here with Dan Briggs, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing most excellent. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How was your week?
Man, it was good. It was really good. We got a lot done this week.
Yeah, I was excited to release mobile.
Yeah. First and foremost, we got mobile done this week.
Absolutely. Beauty Bubble and Barb are in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hashtag the quack quack. I like that. Barb, nice to see you. Oh, are the Oscars out tonight? I wonder who's hosting them. If you know, who's hosting them, Barb? Dana?
No, I don't know the answer.
I think the last Oscars I watched was with James Franco and Anne Hathaway, and it was a very awkward Oscars that didn't get very good reviews just because I think they just weren't prepared or something.
Oh, weird. Huh?
Or town hall, but that's the last one I remember seeing.
Interesting.
Sharon, thanks for joining us. Nice to see you here. All right, Dan, what's our first topic of today?
Yeah, good question. You really got to improve your internet connection at some point. That's my first topic.
Oh, yeah? You're lagging a bit for me on my end, I think. I wonder if I'm downloading something.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to close out some of these other tabs I got.
We always have to shut down all our dev stuff in order to go live here. First topic, I guess, is just to talk about mobile in general. So we rolled it out this week, kind of started earlier in the week, and then by, I think, Thursday, everything was out. So this is guests can now join on their phone, and it's fully supported on Android, so video and audio. iOS right now is audio only, and video is coming soon. And interestingly, if you happen to be a beta user for iOS, you can actually have video right now. So
yeah. So if any of you guys either have, it's called the tech preview. Is that what it's called, Dan?
No, that's for Safari on your desktop. It's just called like their beta program.
Just the beta program. So if any of you have an iPhone, I also don't recommend doing this unless you're just super keen on testing new features. But usually the beta that they release is relatively stable. But if any of you want to download the beta for your iPhone, you can actually start experimenting with video on StreamYard, which is pretty awesome. And I think we'll probably be one of the very first apps to have video directly in the browser for iOS. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, not bad.
Roy's here. Thanks for joining us, Roy.
Hello.
There's no host for the Oscars? I thought they always had a host. Oh, that's the suspense. Interesting. I'm way behind. Arthur, thanks for joining us. Ross is here.
Hey, Ross.
Hey, Ross. Lots of people rolling. Card Logic. I think that's Derek. I think it's Derek. Hey, Tom. How's it going? Tom's got I spoke with Tom a long time ago. He's got the Big Daddy Roadshow is his show name. It's very entertaining, but inappropriate for certain audiences, but it's a good show.
Little caveat. Those are the most exciting.
The best way to get in contact with us is on Messenger. Dan's 100% on development, so you're only talking to me. But you can talk when you message us on the Messenger page. You're talking to me, so you can talk to me on Messenger, or you can shoot us an email, contact@streamyard.com.
Yeah.
Tricia, thanks for joining us. Michael, you're a new face. Nice to see you here.
So just, for anyone coming in who's new, we do these every week. So every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And basically we just answer questions and go over kind of what we've been up to and where StreamYard's headed. And usually we get a lot of questions about, can I use it on this device? Or can I do this with StreamYard? How would I do that? When are you guys going to be releasing this? So yeah, if you're in the chat, feel free to ask some questions. And
Eileen made an interesting post today that Dan was going to talk a bit about, just because it's kind of a fun thing to know about. You want to talk about how Facebook and Gmail kind of have their own browsers, Dan?
Yeah. So this is one of the challenges we have run into implementing, like our mobile stuff is all browser-based. So usually people make apps, but the future's kind of moving towards browser-based stuff because they're so powerful now. So we've built ours in the browser. If you're using your device, like say I was a host of a show and I want to invite a guest, I just send them a link. They join, maybe they get the link in Gmail, and then they click the link. You can just use StreamYard in your browser. But yeah, what's kind of interesting is that you don't really open it in your browser. Like if you're in Gmail, in the Gmail app, and you click a link, you'll notice this, like the header is still red. Like you're still in Gmail, which is kind of
Gmail
cool.
sort of has their own wrapper around the browser, so you have to move over to Safari to actually run it.
Well, yeah. So say you're on Android, right? Let's go through a couple simple examples. Like say you're on Android, you're a guest, you get a link in Gmail, you click the link, it'll open it in Gmail, but like that's kind of based on Chrome still. It's not Chrome, but it's based on like Chromium, which is what Chrome's built on. So it's very similar to Chrome, but it's not Chrome. So it's kind of unique. And then a lot of other things like Slack would be similar. It opens it up in like kind of Chrome. But what's one that you may run into or your guests will run into is Facebook. Is sort of the outlier here. Like Facebook actually has their own. It's a little more fully featured. So instead of just like this little wrapper around Chrome, they've gone all out in order to keep you in the Facebook app. They want to control the whole experience. So if you're in Facebook and you click on a link to go to StreamYard, it'll open it in the Facebook browser, which doesn't support our video technology at all. So we basically will tell your guests like, hey, you need to open this in your actual browser, and we'll just give them a link to open it in the real browser. But yeah, it's all kind of, and iOS is very similar with Safari.
It's a good way to put it, Tom.
Yeah.
Hashtag kind of Chrome. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Kind of Chrome. That is a good way to put it. So we've done a lot of stuff to make sure that like, you know, if someone clicks on a link in Slack, it'll just work in Slack on Android. On iOS, we'll tell them, hey, click this button to open it in Safari because it won't work in Slack. So yeah, a lot of pseudo browsers.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for us or any topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to just drop them in the comments at any time and we'll make sure we touch on them. One question I actually had for all of you is if you would prefer to continue having these streams on YouTube or if you think Facebook would be a more appropriate forum for them, because I know everyone here, I think almost everyone here is probably in our StreamYard community group. So the reason why we initially chose YouTube is just because YouTube was sort of a new landscape for these third-party streaming apps. So we figured, let's try it out on YouTube, and it's gone relatively well. We've gained some subscribers here, and I do like YouTube, but I think it would be nice to try to grow our Facebook page a bit. So if you guys have any hard opinions on where you'd prefer to view it, I'd be interested to hear that.
Cool, yeah.
And you had a topic as well that you wanted to ask about, right there?
Oh, I'm sure I've got a few here. Yeah, here's one. So it's just something that we noticed would be kind of useful, and we're not sure like what the answer to it is, but I'm just curious if anyone's run into this. Let's say you're the admin of a Facebook page, so you've created a Facebook page and you go live to that page, and then for some reason, maybe you want to let someone else go live to that page, but you don't want to make them an admin or anything. Or, you know, same thing for a group. I'm curious if anyone's run into that.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out if this is an actual. So it's something we ran into. So we're curious if it's an issue that any of you have ever come across where you want to just let someone that maybe you work with that you don't want to have full access to your Facebook account. You just want them to be able to go live on your behalf. Is that a pain point for anyone, or is that something we've dreamt up ourselves as something?
Yeah, like it was definitely a real thing for us.
Thanks, Sharon. We appreciate that. Hey, Nicole, nice to see you. Better quality stream on YouTube. That is true.
Interesting, yeah.
Interesting. There's more opinions for YouTube than I thought there would be.
There is less distractions. I definitely agree with that. But I also agree with Dana. It'll probably more people will see it on Facebook. They
can go live direct, and yes, I've wanted to do that many times. Okay, that's good to know. We're referring to the co-hosting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a bit unimpressed with Facebook's granularity of permissions you could grant for things. Like it seems like that would be something that they'd be all over, but there's only like 5 different roles, so it seems like there could potentially be a need for that.
Yeah, like if you want to let someone stream to your page, it's like, oh, you also have to give them access to everything. Yeah, which might be okay for some people, but it could also be a problem, especially if you're a business and
Well, another thing that was odd about it is the combinations of permissions that were granted seemed kind of odd to me. Like an editor received full access to like. I shouldn't say this because I might be repeating it wrong. But the point of it, that the editor role had access to things that didn't make sense to me, which I thought was odd.
Right. Interesting.
All right. I'm not seeing any questions from the chat. You guys don't have any questions for us? Do you have any other topics you wanted to cover, Dan?
The only other one I think of is that, so it's February 24th today. So I wanted to give a shout out. It is my Nana's 80th birthday today.
Happy birthday, Nana.
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
I was saying she's just getting warmed up with all the technology advancements and anti-aging stuff coming in. 80 is going to be the new 40.
80 is the new 40. That'd be pretty sweet. Another 40 years. It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a question. If we want to repurpose the audio from an interview we do on StreamYard, will it save video or audio locally so we can use for a podcast? That's a good question, Arthur, and it comes up a lot. And I was actually going to ask, so to quickly answer your question, no, we don't have that at that time. But the topic I was about to bring up was how useful of a feature you guys think that would be. Are you relatively satisfied with being able to just use the recordings that are generated on the destination platform on YouTube and Facebook? Or would it be significantly more convenient for us to also store a local recording for you guys that maybe also had like an MP3 and the full video audio recording that you could download for maybe something like 24 hours? Would that be high on the priority list for any of you as far as features? I'd be curious.
Yeah, I know some people have definitely mentioned that, especially.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, there's been a few people that are very keen on for podcasting specifically.
Mm-hmm. But also even like, you want to do it on Facebook, but then post it onto YouTube, or you want to cut it up and post it onto Instagram.
Lots of happy birthdays for your Nana. That's nice of you guys.
She'll appreciate that. Very cool.
80 the new 40. You never know.
Hey guys, technology moves quickly.
Driving around in a.
I do think. Customize the backgrounds.
Yeah, absolutely, Ross. You just upload. You can upload a GIF or transparent PNG, and I can turn mine off. I'll turn it off right now. Why don't I upload one on the fly? That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, choose something interesting.
So you can see I'm turning it off and on right now. But if I wanted, I could choose. Let's try to find a picture here. I don't have very many pictures.
Something not too destructive. Maybe like one of those funky kind of multicolored.
I actually have a picture.
Tie-dye.
I just really don't have. I guess a GIF would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do I have a GIF? This one might be a GIF. I'll try this GIF. This is on the fly, so I don't know if this is the correct image, but we'll see.
Hopefully it's appropriate.
Hopefully it's. Oh yeah, so there we go. Now we got snow in the background. It's kind of cool.
Right on. It's not distracting either.
I'll turn the snow off.
No, it's all good. It's an eye catcher.
Okay, I'll leave it. Okay. So Tom, I think Tom's referring to recording, so he's a fan of that.
Cool.
Thanks, Barb. Yes. I know we talked a bit about that before, Dan. Was that did we fix that bug? Because I know there was some bug we had where names would turn into dots for certain lengths or something, or is that just the length thing that Barb's referring to?
That's different. So what Barb means is like whatever our length limit is, I can't remember. I want to say it's 50 characters or something. She's wondering if we can make it 52.
52.
For 2 more characters, as my essay gets cut off. Or maybe no, it might be a bug then. So I'm curious, Barb, for you, is the name filling up the entire width of your video, or is it like I guess it'd be here just a small chunk and then it's just still getting cut off? Because that could just be an issue on our end. I think we let 50 characters in there.
All right, we'll test it out. I know I saw it happening to Jim and Tim on their show for their names. It was changing. Yeah, so It was full for the view we're in right now, but when they were switching to this view, they got cut off.
Interesting.
So we'll look into it, Barb.
Yeah, okay. That will be fixed automatically. If that is indeed the issue, that'll be fixed automatically when we release those recorder changes. So we're talking like a week.
Okay.
And we're making our recorder a lot more efficient. So the thing that does all the mixing of the videos, and as part of that, it would be fixed just because we're doing things differently.
That's for recording. Awesome. Sounds like people are stoked on recording. Tom is as well. 50 is the new 20. Call me, ladies. People are a fan of 80s, the new 40. I agree. It's a good.
Hey man, like, so one of the industry trends I find really cool is that like there's a lot of technology founders who've made quite a bit of money making tech products, right? Like just like StreamYard, tech products, and that are now sort of shifting their focus towards health stuff. So it hasn't like fully moved there yet, but maybe 5-10 years from now, I think a lot of founders with a lot of money and a lot of skills are going to be working on health related problems, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of good things are going to come from that.
Yes, longevity is certainly a hot commodity. I would definitely pay some serious money to live longer. So would be great. And from a retention standpoint for future business selling point, tons of podcasters, others would swing over to StreamYard. Awesome. Yeah, that's for the recording stuff. Sorry, guys, for my poor quality. I think I've got something downloading in the background, which is causing me to suck. Do I seem okay, Dan?
I've seen better. But
Hold on.
I mean, the product's holding up fine, but yeah, your internet's choking it down.
All right. Next time I'll make sure I just can't find what I have running. Nice to see you here, Patty. Sharon has a question. I have a question that was posed to me. If you have a paid account and then revert to a free account, will you lose all your background files? Someone asked me that already. I said, man, ask Cage. No, you won't. Well, you won't lose the photos, but you won't be able to use them. If that makes sense. So if you ever upgrade again, you'll have access to all of them. That's right, right there.
Yeah, like say you were streaming kind of like a show where you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna stream in January and February, but not March, and then I'll be back in April. And then you just downgrade it for March. Your backgrounds will still be there in April when you come back, but in March you won't be able to use your backgrounds.
Yeah. Oh, that's the name. Yeah, the naming issue. So yeah, it should be fixed soon, Barb. Is there a way to delete troublemakers and chat with StreamYard, or is that something you have to do on the Facebook end? Also, how many views do you have for 2 on screen? Oh, for 2 on screen, it's just so I'll go through them. We've got this one, like the CNN panel style, and those are all. And yes, that's a good question about troublemakers. We can actually add features for that. I know when we spoke, Tom, that was an issue for your show, and I'm sure as we continue growing and have some larger, we already have quite a few large streamers. If we start attracting people that have sort of more rambunctious audiences, this will become a more important feature. And it is handled on the Facebook side, but we do have access to their API, so we can control some things that way. How familiar are you with that? Dan?
So YouTube and Facebook are obviously different. I'm more familiar with YouTube, where you can assign moderators and moderate the chat, and even like delete comments and stuff. But actually, and get rid of people, as far as I know. Facebook, I'm not as familiar. I'd have to look into it, what we could do on our end.
Right.
Because it kind of depends. Like, there's certain things you probably do on Facebook, and then it's just, what does Facebook actually expose to us? I'm not sure what they expose there. I haven't seen anything from moderation other than deleting comments.
All right. We'll look into it a bit more, Tom, and get back to you. There's definitely quite a few things for YouTube, at least. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like YouTube, we know, has quite a few moderation options on our end.
Yes.
Barb agrees that life will sell. I agree. Yeah, we should start working on that,
eh? That's awesome.
Dave Jackson's test drive demonstrates the interest the podcast community has for a good fit for their live streaming needs. Yeah, I really appreciate that. If Dave catches the recording, I appreciate him checking it out, and I appreciate everyone who helped make that connection, which I think Ross helped that along. Same with Barb, Beauty Bubble, and Eileen. So that's very kind of all of you, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's cool to see people use it for podcasting. It's so similar, right?
Yeah.
Or podcasting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one thing that we both need to educate ourselves a bit more on, because I've listened to lots of podcasts, but I'd like to become more familiar with what the actual process is for people that are making podcasts, just so that, because it seems that there is quite a bit of interest from the podcaster community, which we didn't really anticipate. We were more focused just on people just doing live interviews and things like that. So we need to do some research then to see if there's ways we can facilitate that and make it a good product for them.
Yeah, a lot of our tech skills are probably very transferable, I'd imagine. So pretty good stuff.
Absolutely.
Very cool. We got any other questions there?
I think we've covered all of them. If there's anyone else, or not anyone else, if there's any other questions, drop them in now. Otherwise, we'll probably close it off here. It's been a fun stream. Thanks. We had quite a few people join us tonight. We really appreciate that. It's really fun getting questions, so we don't have to try to generate content on the fly. Q&A style is awesome. So thanks to everyone who participated.
Yeah, I'm enjoying these streams. It's nice to go live. Like, one of the reasons Gage and I started doing this is just because we want to make sure that we're building the right things. And if we use our own product, we get a lot more familiar with kind of the pain points you guys have to go through, right? So it's super useful to be trying this out, and I'm quite enjoying it. I really like going live, actually.
No, I like it too. It's nice to sort of get a direct connection going to see how people are feeling about the product. And then it's much different developing versus actually using the thing. So it's good to always get a reality check of like, okay, this seemed very intuitive when we were programming it. How intuitive is it actually? So far,
of course, yeah.
But it's good to definitely do the sanity check of making sure you're using it every week.
I just find the comparison too between like cutting videos, like, you know, shooting clips, cutting videos is just, it's a lot of work. And this is, it's very organic. You get really good engagement.
Yeah. And I've definitely experienced that firsthand, like even with the tools out there. Like there's some nice ones, like browser-based ones that make it pretty easy to sort of clip and combine clips, but it's still time consuming just to make sure you find all the right clips, upload all your clips, and then just start cropping and making transitions. Like all that stuff takes a while, and just being able to sort of do it on the fly and highlight people is definitely a nice alternative in my opinion.
Yeah. And like if you screw up, I mean, it's live, right? It's
people are more understanding, right? Like it's if you upload some video on YouTube that's just super lazily edited, people aren't very understanding. But if it's a live show and you stumble over some words, people are like, well, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Beauty Bubble saying thanks. Thank you, Beauty Bubble. Tom mentioned, additional cameras from the studio. So hopefully that becomes easier and easier, Tom, especially as we improve mobile support, to be able to just have another person join with a phone and a tripod set up so that you can sort of get some different views going. From our discussion that we had, like if you have a super involved radio show where you want lots of different scenes and stuff, XSplit might be the way to go. Like you could consider using StreamYard in addition to it, just to make bringing guests in easier. But for super complex and involved things, you might want to start looking at things like XSplit or OBS.
Yeah, vMix.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. We appreciate that. It has blown up in regards to podcasters wanting video because of demand and Joe Rogan setting the standard. Listeners now want to see interview podcasts from their TV and devices.
Yeah.
That's good for us. That's awesome. One interesting setup I've seen for podcasting is a guy named Chris, I don't want to butcher his last name, I think it's Salata, who does a podcast called Behind the Ears. And it's kind of interesting because I think his focus is on podcasting, but they sort of do the Facebook Live as a live recording, which is a pretty cool format where you sort of engage your audience and can sort of get some content for your podcast by doing the Q&A, but still very much focused on the audio recording. Like I think he cuts it up a bit after he does the live studio recording, but I thought that was an interesting way to use StreamYard.
That's cool, yeah.
That's good to know. Thanks, Russ. Oh yeah, we appreciate you guys testing it out. It was awesome. I think I saw in Barb's group, you guys had quite a few people in on mobile, so that was awesome to see that it was holding up.
Yeah.
Is Dan old enough to drive? He's got his permit. It's like three or 4 months, is it, Dan, before you get the full license? Almost.
What?
Dan's old enough to drive. I'm just kidding.
That's good stuff. Yes, most definitely. I just look young.
I'll email so we can talk more about projections with the podcast world. Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. All right, I think that's all our questions. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was, let's finally find the picture here, episode number 7 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was fun.
Awesome. See you guys next week.